While they have done many rehearsals and practices, in fact, there they are now. Our Polaris Dawn crew, SpaceX's 5th all-civilian crew to fly on Dragon.
Wow, they just look so cool, don't they?
They really do.
They came out with their visors down, which I thought was really awesome. Now they got their visors up, raising the roof
Some
there.
nice dance moves.
4 on countdown. Crew walkout is on schedule.
Yeah, and you can see even just with how they're waving and moving their arms around, you know, really the EVA suits are not capable of doing that type of motion. So you can really see that even though the suits do look similar, as we've said, there's quite a few upgrades that have gone into these suits.
Yeah, I'm personally looking forward to seeing if the astronaut lean back move will look any different than what we've seen with the EVA suits. So yeah, at first glance, they might not look super different from the intravehicular suit or EVA suit that we've seen before. And oh, look at this great view of mission specialist and medical officer Anna Menon there on the far right-hand side of your screen. To the left of her is Sarah Gillis, also a mission specialist. To the left of her, but in a different vehicle, is our pilot, Kid Poteet. And on the very left-hand side of your screen, of course, is Commander Jared Isaacman.
This is like one of my favorite views, getting to almost be inside of the cars with them, but getting to see the crew in their suits. Again, they use these vehicles to help keep cool air flowing through their suits as well, so they can connect their umbilicals into these vehicles as they make their way to the launch pad. But they also get to listen to, hopefully, at least a song on the way to the launch pad. It's only going to be about
it's like
5
one
minutes.
song.
Yeah, pretty short playlist.
But they do get to pick, you know, even though it's a short ride, their one song that they get to listen to is chosen by each of the crew members.
So it looks like the SpaceX Suit Up team has assisted the crew into the Teslas. The door's closing now, and the crew will be departing up to pad 39A momentarily. I love this view. They all look so excited.
Great color palette here, too, with the white of the suits and the white of the Teslas. Looks great.
What I'm curious, we haven't seen a shot of license plates, because a lot of time the Teslas have some kind of a slogan or a saying spelled out on the plates.
Unique to the mission, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they've got anything for this one.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, because they are now making moves. You can see the support vehicle leading the way with the 2 Tesla vehicles, bringing the Polaris Dawn crew on their way to the launch pad.
This is Core on countdown. Crew transport to the pad is in progress.
We can see music is clearly going on as we got some conducting there momentarily.
Very excited crew heading to the pad here.
Yeah, just like Jesse mentioned, there is still cool nitrox or nitrogen oxygen air mixture flowing into their suits. That's what we saw the Suit Up team assisting with, helping to plug them in. So helping make sure that everyone stays comfortable in this short ride up to pad 39A.
Some big smiles there.
They're cruising.
And you could already see the launch pad right there. You could see how close it was. Very short drive. Again, just enough for one song.
Yeah. Now, like we said, the team has performed rehearsals, in fact, a full dress rehearsal where we simulated everything with the launch countdown up to T0. So while the Polaris Dawn crew has put these suits on and has ridden up to the pad in the dark, they've never done it on launch day before. And the feeling of standing next to your spaceship as it, is getting ready to have propellants loaded on board, it just must much be such a different experience. And Jared's feeling it for the second time, so I'm very excited to see his reaction in particular.
I like how he told them, take less stuff. But yeah, I wonder what he's told them about this, because when they walked out of the FSB, when we saw them, and oh, by the way, they were right on time, so schedule's looking good.
Anna was out.
She was very excited. First one out the door.
I'd be the same.
But yeah, when they came out the FSB, they're on the south side, so they can't see the rocket until they actually start to go up the grade, up the pad. So I wonder what their thoughts are as they finally see it all illuminated, going, this is it, it's not a rehearsal.
So while we don't have a close-up shot back there, we were just barely able to see the license plates. They say for St. Jude, and they have original artwork from St. Jude patients, which is so cool.
I love that. I love that St. Jude has the patients do a lot of art, and they utilize the art.
Yeah. Oh, here's a great view.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah, some thumbs up.
Our commander and pilot have stepped out of their vehicle with some waves and thumbs up.
So you can see the machine there, which provides the cool air in the transport vehicle. The next step will be for them to take a look at their rocket and spaceship, and then they will enter the elevators and take that up to the 255-foot level. After that, they'll take a flight of stairs up the remaining 10 feet to where the crew access arm is located.
Right now you can see there's a team with them helping assist them with anything that the crew needs. Even though these suits are very mobile, we do want to make sure that the crew is able to easily function, and you can see that they're helping with the umbilicals on each suit as they're going to make their way into the elevator and up the crew tower. And some excited waves and smiles there. The crew is going to, they're walking over to be able to check out their vehicle, as Kate was saying. And
I
a little
love
bit of
this
a
shot.
lean back.
There's a lean back, yep.
Not quite as much as the IVA suits, but
It is a bit
is
of a
great.
challenge where they are, because they're on the side of the vehicle with the strong back, and that'll recline a little bit.
Countdown. Crew have arrived at the pad.
Yep. And the core keeping track for us on the countdown net, telling us as major events have happened. Again, we're still right on time. But yeah, when they lean back, kind of got an obstructed view of the Falcon 9 with the Dragon on top, because the strong back kind of is in the way. But that's just the price of coming up on the elevator side.
oh yeah, they've got a long way to look up. It's over 200 feet to the top of that rocket, so.
Nice moment here to get some photographs with the entire crew in front of their Falcon 9 rocket. Now, the Falcon 9 that's flying today is making its fourth trip to space. It previously supported the Crew 8 mission as well as 2 Starlink missions. And the Dragon spacecraft that they'll be flying in is Dragon Resilience, which first flew with the NASA Crew 1 mission and was followed about a year later with the Inspiration 4 mission.
And as we mentioned, that this will be Jared's second time not only flying with SpaceX, but also this capsule itself.
Yeah. And we can see there that the first pair, I believe was Anna and Sarah, have entered the elevator. Right about now, they're hitting the button labeled space on that elevator panel. Once again, that goes up to the 255-foot level.
Once they get to that 255-foot level, they will walk up some stairs, and that'll take them to a very traditional telephone. Well, they'll get to make a phone call to whomever they wish, and they'll be able to,
Yeah.
And there they are. They've arrived at the 255-foot level. They've exited the elevator, and we'll see the stairs here momentarily.
A lot of people coming out of that elevator.
Yeah.
And we can see these arrows on the ground marking the direction for emergency egress. So you will notice that they'll give a little wave there, some fist bumps. Like we've mentioned, that there's been a lot of training that goes into these missions, and so they have close relationships with the crew members. And speaking of crew members, like we've mentioned before, Jared Isaacman was the commander of the last mission to fly with this Dragon capsule, which was Inspiration 4. The Inspiration 4 crew walked the very same steps that you see the Polaris Dawn crew making now. And they also had an opportunity to make this phone call that we're going to see take place here. So we got a chance to talk with the Inspiration 4 crew. Here's who they decided to talk to for their last phone call before flying to space.
When we got to the top of the launch tower, Jared and I came out of the elevator and went around and up the stairs and had a chance to make that final call with that really old push-button phone. And they still pay the phone bill, so it works. It's great. I chose not to call my wife because we had decided together that we had said our goodbyes after breakfast, and there was no need to kind of repeat that. So what am I going to do to make the most of this moment? Well, I decided to pay it back towards my friend Kyle, who gave me the seat to begin with. And I was so glad that he kept his phone on. So when I called his number and they dialed it for me, and I picked up the phone and said, "Hey, Kyle, how are you doing?" And he just started cracking up. He was really excited that I gave him a call and said, "What are you calling me for?" And so, well, I figured I'd give you a call before I get launched off this rock. And he I really appreciated that moment. It's another way to include those people that support you along the way. So yeah, I called my friend Kyle, and I think it was the right choice. I hope he appreciated it.
For me, that last phone call before leaving the Earth was something that I knew would be significant. And I'm in a situation where my parents have passed away. I'm divorced. I have no kids. And my first, idea was to talk to somebody who had influenced me, somebody that I looked up to. And so I asked to talk to Michelle Obama. And I was really fortunate that we had connections to be able to make that happen. But that phone call is a personal moment, so nobody else gets to share it. So instead of me having that phone call with Michelle Obama at that moment before leaving the Earth, where it would have been just between me and her, we moved it to the day before, so that my entire crew could have this experience of talking with her, which was the right decision. She was amazing. And then that left me with the opening of like, okay, well, who am I going to talk to? And I talked to my brother Langley, which was really great because I didn't know it at the time, but he has early onset dementia. And so this was very special to have that moment with him.
Well, and all of my kids fell in love with Langley and started calling him Papa Langley. And, spent a lot of time with him. He was absolutely fantastic with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I chose to call my mom, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And my brother and sister-in-law are actually aerospace engineers. And so they had been such a big part of my journey because after a long day of training, I would be studying and I would call and say, like, what does this mean? And it also really bonded us even more. It was just been such a special journey, all of us together. And then getting to talk to them from the launch pad. I remember my mom just telling me that she was proud of me. And then I just remember hanging up because it's kind of in that moment you shift from the day of launch. There's just so many exciting moments where you're surrounded by people cheering you on. But then after you hang up and you turn towards the rocket, you're just very mission focused. Like, okay, we're doing this now.
What a great way to summarize that. We're doing this now. And here they come down the crew access arm. This is basically their final approach to the Dragon spacecraft. This access arm will lead them into the White Room, which is an environmentally controlled room. Helps keep it environmentally stable for the crew and the spacecraft. All love the heart symbol there.
This is so exciting to see our two SpaceX employees making their way down the crew access arm, getting ready to ingress Dragon.
Yeah, but first, before they do that, they are going to be handed a Sharpie. In fact, it's right there. And they're now going to add their name to quite an esteemed wall of signatures. They're going to sign it next to the X logo, of course, which is for our astronauts that fly with our private missions next to the NASA meatball for the NASA
Business
astronauts.
Corps on countdown. Crew have arrived at the White Room and expecting ingress imminently.
It's quite incredible just to see the number of signatures around that X. You know, we talked about Inspiration 4, which was only a few years ago, and now here we are with Polaris Dawn, which is our 5th all-civilian mission to space. You know,
Yeah.
so we're just really getting the numbers up in terms of private civilians going to space.
Yeah, I love this. I love this tradition that you get to sign the wall when you get to fly and basically be able to leave a mark at least somewhere right before you lift off to outer space.
And what's also super cool is this process of ingress that we're seeing. You'll notice crew members in the basically their black onesies, the ninja suits, and these are all part of the closeout crew. You can see a tablet there in action. They're following along with our electronic procedures, or EPROCs. And what I think is so cool about this mission in particular is that the 2 women that you see on your screen now are part of the larger space operations team that helped to develop these procedures that the closeout crew are using now. So I think that's such a very cool full circle moment.
Also note in the White Room, you know, it's a FOD, foreign object debris. Make sure there's not anything that you're tracking in. You don't want to bring it into the capsule. And the tablets are an example of that. You know, when I came up in the business, everything in the clean room was still paper. And you'd watch somebody actually using a pencil and eraser and trying to erase.
So the crew arm is actually pressed up against the Dragon spacecraft to create a seal to make sure that, you know, it's environmentally controlled inside of the crew access arm as well as the White Room before they ingress to prevent, you know, FOD and any exterior weather entering inside the White Room.
This is a great view of the crew access arm in its entirety. We can see that they are now entering the capsule very carefully. There are some protective pieces around the hatch that helps protect the hatch itself, as well as the suits and helmet. We can see now that Jared and Kid have entered the White Room and are about to add their signature. I have a feeling that Kid may have just pointed to Jared's original signature from his Inspiration 4. And I think Jared's probably trying to figure out what to do now.
Yeah, where does he put his second signature? He's our second frequent flyer after MLA. Michael Lopez Alegria, who flew twice on Dragon, and now Jared gets to be a frequent flyer on the same spacecraft that he flew on before with Inspiration 4.
Yep, very cool.
I don't think we have an air miles program set up yet, but maybe one day we will.
We gotta work on that, yeah.
So inside the capsule, Sarah and Anna are getting situated in their seats. There is a closeout team member inside the capsule helping them get buckled in with their safety harness. Oh, actually, we can see there now our first live view inside Dragon Resilience. Sarah and Anna occupying the window seats, as it were, which is absolutely the seat I would also want if I were flying a Dragon.
And
But more importantly, mission specialist seats go in because that'll still leave the center line open for when Jared and Kid go on in. So there is kind of an order to how you get into the Dragon spacecraft.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned before, our procedures document all of this down to a T, even down to the fact that the pad preparation crew that arrives in advance of the astronauts, they actually have it in their procedures to make sure there is a Sharpie ready to go in the White Room. So we can see now Scott, or he actually goes by his call sign Kid Poteet, now making his way momentarily, getting a final check for zipper fitment and the finer adjustments of the spacesuit before ingressing into the capsule. Jared waiting so patiently.
Yeah, and the crew is there again to help them. They're also helping check for FOD, but you'll also see them as they ingress to protect their helmets from hitting the hatchway as they enter, making sure they don't damage the suits, making sure they don't hurt themselves while they're entering. And that's what that crew is there for, is to help them with every and anything in preparation to get into their seats and get ready for liftoff.
We can see the suit up, the closeout team there assisting Kid, make sure he doesn't bump his helmet as he enters. If you're wondering what that green flashing light is, that's actually a hazardous operation indicator used at all of our facilities around Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. Green means go, as you can see. We will, of course, right about, whenever we have a pad clear period, that status indicator will change to yellow and red, of course.
Yeah, Jesse talked about the clean room, the white room, and the seals around the spacecraft. You get a little bit of a look as Jared gets ready to ingress. But the seals are in place. Later on, we ought to see, they'll retract the seals, and then you can see daylight, or in this case, night, around the spacecraft as we get ready later on to retract the arm. And there goes Jared into Dragon.
The last Polaris Dawn crew member to ingress the Dragon spacecraft.
I can't wait to see an up-close photo of what Jared decided to do with signature number 2. We can see all 4 crew members now in their seats, Sarah and Anna. So just a quick rundown on the far left side of your screen. In seat number 4 is Anna Menon. Then to the right, we have Kid Poteet, our pilot, followed by Jared Isaacman, our commander. And then on the far right side, Sarah Gillis, now getting strapped into her 5-point safety harness as well.
Electronic poll has been completed. If we do continue with the countdown.
Dragon SpaceX, we're getting meteorological input that we should waive this attempt given the last radar scan. So we're going to pause the clock here and move to our second T0.
Copy that, SpaceX, and we are standing by for the second T0.
Okay, we're T-minus 44 minutes and 30 seconds, and we have paused the clock for the moment.
We
got a last-minute update. One cell right at around the 10 nautical mile border had popped up on the radar returns. We have to get all the weather clear within 10 nautical miles of the launch pad in order to be able to launch Falcon 9 with the crew on the Dragon.
And launch control.
The weather was iffy.
If
it would clear in time for the original T0.
2349 UTC. And LD, that's 09:23:49 UTC. That is correct.
Launch director confirming the planned new T0, 09:23:49, I believe, universal time. That would be at 5:23 a.m. on pad 39A.
Launch control, you may proceed with arming the crew arm for movement.
We've heard the instructions. We're waiting to hear them inform the crew that access arm retract has started. We're also watching on the monitors as we see the crew access arm, waiting for it to begin into motion. Now, once we get through this, then we will be arming the launch escape system. And
Crew
there's a view.
Access arm retraction has started.
Crew access arm retraction has started. Once that's all the way back in the stowed position, we'll arm the launch escape system, proceed down to propellant load starting at T-minus 35 minutes. One other update, weather probability of violation, as we mentioned, down to 20%, and they just checked with the launch weather officer. Nothing appears to be in the area that would be a risk to T0 in just over 44 minutes. And Jesse, you can see crew access arm starting to come back now.
Yeah, this is a very exciting moment here. This is one of the last major visual milestones that we'll see in preparation for liftoff. And soon we should also hear the call out that the
Crew
launch...
access arm retraction is complete. FTS is armed, Falcon 9 is in startup and is now controlling.
Dragon is in countdown.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Send that, SpaceX.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and go Falcon, go Polaris.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 35 seconds into the Polaris Dawn mission, flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9 to new heights.
Power and telemetry nominal.
And we're throttling down in preparation for max Q. Next call out, the vehicle supersonic. And there on the left side, we got the Polaris Dawn crew.
Supersonic.
Thumbs up from the pilot on the left side there.
Max Q.
We're throttled back up to power.
1 Bravo.
And we heard the call out 1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
That just tells the crew what would happen should they need to initiate anything. But right now, everybody making nominal callouts on Falcon 9. Nice views from the ground camera and nice view from inside Dragon.
MVAC chill is underway.
The announcement lets us know we've begun the final chill of the second stage engine in preparation for its activity coming up at about T plus 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Two minutes into flight. Everything continues to look good. We'll have in half a minute 3 major activities. Shutdown of the 9 Merlin 1D engines, stage separation,
throttle down,
and then ignition of the second stage engine. Throttle down, we're holding a constant acceleration now for the crew just below 4 Gs. See, we're coming up 70 kilometers. Preparing for MECO.
main engine cut off.
2 Alpha.
Stage separation confirmed.
Copy, 2 Alpha. MVAC ignition.
As you can tell by the cheers behind us and the views on your screen, the first stage booster now on its way to attempt landing on Just Read the Instructions. Second stage there on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see that the first stage has not yet reached its apogee. You can see the altitude there. Lots of thumbs up there. Excuse me, from pilot Scott Kid Poteet. Now 3.5 minutes into the Polaris Dawn mission. First stage continuing to make its way up to its apogee. We'll see that altitude begin to slow down.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Great news there, indicating
Dragon copy.
that the second stage trajectory is looking good. Now the grid fins have deployed on the first stage. If we get first stage views, we might be able to see the Florida coast in the background. Oh, they're right there. Yeah, we sure can. Once again, our drone ship is attempting to land on, our booster is attempting to land on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. Now, the next event coming up will be the entry burn, taking place around T plus 7.5 minutes. This burn will utilize 3 of the engines on the first stage. That helps to slow the booster down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Dragon copies.
Following the entry burn, we will see the landing burn, and that'll be around T plus 9 minutes. That one will be just a single engine burn. And that will bring the booster down for a soft landing on our drone ship. Around the same time as that, we expect to see Dragon be injected into orbit. Everything continuing to look good for second stage there on the right-hand side of your screen. Beautiful glow with that MVAC engine nozzle. We can see the crew settling
Dragon
quite...
SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Dragon copies.
Crew seems pretty comfortable there at T plus 6 minutes. They're at about 4 Gs. And everything looks good. First stage continuing its descent back down to planet Earth. We can see the crew remain with their visors down in the locked position. That'll remain that way until they are in orbit. Everything continuing to look great with the second stage engine burn there, as well as the
Dragon SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Dragon copies.
We're about 30 seconds away from the first stage entry burn. This is the first of 2 burns that the first stage will perform. Designed to help reduce the amount of drag experienced by the first stage.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
All right, standing by for entry burn begin on the first stage, there on the left-hand side of your screen.
And right on time, you can see on your left-hand screen that the entry burn has begun. There's 3 engines lit on that first stage vehicle. And this is about a 29-second burn and helps slow the vehicle down as it's re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. There you can see that the engines have now shut down on that first stage. That concludes the entry burn. And the cool part about this, with the stage 1 vehicle returning back to Earth, is we get to fully utilize the atmosphere. The atmosphere actually...
Stage 2's internal guidance.
The atmosphere actually scrubs about 70% of the velocity on the vehicle. So we use that entry burn to help slow the vehicle down. Then we utilize the atmosphere and the drag from the atmosphere to slow the vehicle down. And then we do have 1 single burn for the landing burn.
Copy. Shannon.
And next up will be SECA 1 and that is second stage engine cutoff 1, and that'll be on the second stage. That MVAC engine on your right-hand screen will shut down and allow the vehicle with Dragon attached to coast.
MVAC shut down.
And there's that shutdown. And the landing burn on the first stage should be starting up here momentarily. And there it is. Landing burn has begun for
Dragon SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
Dragon SpaceX launch escape system disarmed.
Copy that, SpaceX, and we show the scene.
And a lot of events happening right there, but you can see that the stage 1 vehicle has touched down. Just read the instructions. A very excited crowd there. Here in Hawthorne, we've also confirmed MVAC engine shutdown and orbital insertion of the second stage with the crew on board.
Yeah, honestly, a pretty impressive crowd for 2:30 in the morning here. We can see the crew enjoying their first taste of microgravity there on the left-hand side of your screen. Now that the MVAC engine has shut down, they are able to just kind of float free. We might catch a glimpse of the 0G indicator. I can't quite tell if they've. Oh, it looks like it's in the upper right-hand corner. It'll come back into view here. Once again, they will keep their visors on until given the okay by core here on the ground. At this point in time, the Dragon and the Dragon trunk remain attached to the second stage. Second stage is basically safing itself in preparation for the separation from the Dragon trunk. Of course, the trunk will remain attached to the Dragon capsule all the way up until the point in which we begin re-entry operations. The trunk is what will help provide power to the Dragon capsule while it is on orbit using its solar arrays. Looks like our first clear view of planet Earth there, our first of many for this mission. And the next event coming up will be the separation of the Dragon from the second stage. I believe this view here is, yep, it's of the trunk. We can see it separating from the second stage. A gorgeous view. We can see that Polaris
Dragon
Dawn.
separation confirmed.
And copy that, SpaceX, we show the scene.
Polaris Dawn flying free into the sunrise. We're now at T plus 13 minutes and 5 seconds into the mission. Next major event will be nose cone deploy.
Dragon, SpaceX. Today you embark on a journey not just for yourselves, but for all of humanity. Each of you has trained tirelessly and prepared rigorously for this moment, the moment where we reach higher into space than ever before. As you gaze towards the North Star, remember that your courage lights the path for future explorers. We trust in your skills, your bravery, and your teamwork to carry out the mission that lies ahead. Know that the entire team back here is with you every step, watching, supporting, and cheering you on as you walk into space. We are sending you hugs from the ground. Godspeed, Polaris Dawn crew. May you make history and come home safely. Now words from our CE.
Dragon, CE, welcome to orbit. The Falcon team is honored to have helped you start your incredible journey. We hope you enjoyed the ride. The whole SpaceX family is looking up to you. Godspeed and good luck.
LD, CE, message received. We appreciate the kind words. We wouldn't be on this journey without all 14,000 of you back at SpaceX and everyone else cheering us on. We appreciate it, and we're going to get to work now.
Some really nice words there from our tonight's launch director, Frank Messina, who, fun fact, was also the launch director on Inspiration 4, as well as chief engineer for this mission, Jared Metter. Really nice to see some endearing, or hear some endearing words up to the crew.
Well, and with that, the Polaris Dawn crew, they're now in orbit. T plus 15 minutes, and they are scheduled to spend up to the next 5 days in space. We heard that tone for a minute. We thought we might hear from the crew, but they're going to spend the next 5 days in space before splashing down off the coast of Florida.
The Polaris Dawn crew is the Polaris Dawn mission is the first mission in the Polaris program that will demonstrate new technologies, conduct extensive research, and ultimately culminate in a flight of SpaceX's Starship with humans on board. All of this while continuing to raise funds and awareness for important causes here on Earth. You can learn more about the Polaris Dawn program and the Polaris program at polarisprogram.com.
This mission will fly higher than any Dragon mission to date, attempting to reach the highest Earth orbit ever flown for a crewed spacecraft, breaking the record set by Gemini 11 half a century ago. And there it looks like we can see some nose cone separation action happening. Now, the Polaris Dawn crew will also be the first to test the Starlink laser-based communications in space.
Over the course of the mission, we'll be checking in periodically with the crew. Next up, Dragon will initiate a 2-day pre-breathe process to prepare the crew for their upcoming spacewalk, and that'll be this Thursday, September 12th.
Dragon SpaceX nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts, and nose cone open is in progress.
Copy that, SpaceX. We are tracking.
And again, that's Thursday, September 12th for that spacewalk, so please be sure to tune in for our live coverage of this historic milestone.
And of course, we will also be back to bring you live coverage of Splashdown when the crew returns back to Earth. You can stay on top of any potential live events from the crew by following us on X at SpaceX.
And keep tabs on the mission with the Dragon Tracker at SpaceX.com. With that, it's been a great early morning. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon.